You were given a Lego set to build a cruise ship, but now you have to take that Lego set and go build a pirate ship.
Now, in this video, if you've ever been contemplating on whether you want to renovate your RV, this video will answer every single question you have, whether you should or should not do it.
This was one of the most fun interviews that we've ever done. So Cortni didn't just renovate our RV, she flipped our thinking about living on the road. She's hilarious, brilliant, and so professional about what it actually takes to turn a factory RV into a luxury full-time home on wheels. And you won't believe some of the stories that she has.
I think the purple garage might be the most custom request we've gotten as far as like interior design goes.
Welcome, Cortni, to our Belizean station. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this interview with us. We're very, very excited to showcase you and your work. For our audience who may not know you, can you tell us about the Flipping Nomad, how it came to life, and take us back to the first moment where you decided that RV life and renovation was for you?
Yeah, it's been a kind of a crazy story. So I have lived in an RV full time for 11 years now, which is 10 and a half years longer than I thought it was going to be. But I got into the lifestyle just kind of as a housing alternative. And then 1 year into it, I said, I really like this lifestyle, but I cannot stand these interiors. And I was like, there's got to be a cute RV out there, right? And like the longer I searched, the worse it got. And so I realized the only way that I'm going to be able to get what I want is to build it myself. And so bought one and renovated it. And then as time went on, I was like, maybe there's a business here. Like maybe other people want something that looks cute and custom too. But then I was like, no, there's a reason that they all look the way that they do. But then I was like, no, there's millions of RVers out there. There's got to be a segment of people who want something. So it's kind of this like head heart conversation for a while. And then I finally realized I'm not going to know until I try. So then kind of tried the business very slow at the beginning, and then social media fueled the growth of it all. And then now we've got clients much like you guys kind of all over the country, where we usually don't ever get to meet the clients in person, much like we've never gotten to meet in person, because that's kind of how the power of social media accidentally got harnessed. And then now we just keep on keeping on, and we get one rig done and another rig comes in with unique requests, and then that one leaves and the next one comes in. So yeah, it's been a very unexpected business and a very unexpected venture, but it's been fun.
So did you actually think that it was going to turn into a business, or did you thought it was going to be like a one-off, like renovation, helping somebody else, and then like literally you're like making everybody's dreams come true, one rig at a time, right?
Yeah, I was hopeful that like it was going to actually do something, because I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit. So I thought this could be a cool business, but I could have never guessed that it would have turned into what it has turned into.
Well, let me ask this question. Like, what is the wildest and craziest, most jaw-dropping renovation you have ever done?
Well, there's this toy hauler out there that has a purple garage, and I think the purple garage might be the most custom request we've gotten as far as like interior design goes, and two combo residential washer dryers. That's something like you could have given me 10 years to come up with a combination of those two, and I'm not sure I could have ever done it. But that one is definitely a unique one for sure.
Those combo dryers.
Oh my gosh.
Do you love them?
So fantastic. We love them. I just finished watching 3 pillows and 3 blankets all in the same load. And they came out smelling super clean. They're for the pets, they're for the dogs, and they came out immaculate. Like
amazing.
I love them. I love them. I get so much stuff done, and then I'm like done with laundry, and it's exactly how I wanted it.
We literally throw one in one unit and one in the other, and we go to work, and by the time we come home, they're already dry.
Yeah.
We just come home and fold it and fluff it.
Put it away. It's like, it's fantastic. I love them.
If more people don't do that,
you're missing out.
Ow.
Good. I love hearing that.
What is the biggest mistake that you see people try and do when they try to DIY renovate or do something to their own rig?
So the one big thing that people will do is underestimate how much work the spaces take, because they think these are small spaces, it'll go fast. Well, with them being small, it causes a lot of other problems, because like if you start moving stuff, you can get screwed with like a 1/2 inch clearance. Like it's like it gets exponentially more difficult. And so what I always tell people is whatever amount of time you think it will take in your head and whatever your budget is, you should double the budget and triple the amount of time that you think it will take. And that's a more realistic timeline and budget of what it will actually take.
What's the average timeline that it takes for Flipping Nomad to do a renovation for our client?
They've been landing around 3 months or so, but really, like, it just depends on how intense the client wants to get. We just did a partial overhaul of just a kitchen in a Montana, and that one was only 3 weeks, but we didn't touch 80% of the rig. But the full overhauls typically come in around 3 months.
Is there something that Flipping Nomad does not do as far as renovations?
I wouldn't say that we wouldn't ever do them, but actually motorhomes, believe it or not, because in the 7 years of doing this, we've only ever had one motorhome in, and we don't necessarily have anything against them, but we just felt like it was a little bit more of a different animal, and kind of a lot more confined in ways and like different materials. And so, we kind of stick with towables. There's just kind of a lot more freedom and a lot more like floor plan flexibility, and they just seem to jive a lot better with what we do than motorhomes, but nothing against motorhomes.
But as far as like plumbing, obviously mini splits and all that stuff, you guys do?
Yeah, so we'll reimagine like the HVAC system, like mini splits, like what we did in your rig. I mean, like in your rig, we made a residential bathtub appear out of thin air, so that like we had to rework like plumbing for that. And so there can be a lot that goes into that, but that's kind of the beauty of towables is you have a lot more room under the rig to work with to be able to rework some of that stuff. It just kind of depends on the floor plan.
Full disclosure to the audience, like Kamiko and I use Flipping Nomad and Cortni for our fifth wheel, and we love it. Absolutely love it. That's why we're doing this renovation. Can you share a little about the process, what the process is like working with clients that don't just want to travel, but are full-time RVers? Like, what's the difference between somebody who wants to do like weekend jaunts versus people who want to do full-time RVing?
Our clientele has gotten to the point where they use the rigs pretty extensively. So like you guys, where you guys are full-time. We just finished a Montana that was full-time. We've got another client here where they're seasonal use quite a bit. And so with those types of clients, the requests tend to be more functionality based than necessarily interior design based. So much like your guys' request of having the 2 combo washer dryers, of having the cat domain, of having the dog dish drawer, like things of that nature, where it's like you have all of these specific requests of how you need the space to function, but there's not ever going to be an RV off the shelf that has that. Right. So that's really kind of the difference between the people who are using their rigs pretty intensively versus kind of just like the casual camper.
Have you ever had someone where you and them just completely disagreed on the vision for the rig? And then how do you mediate an RV design so that you come to a place where both your client happy and you're happy with what you're producing?
Yeah, so the way that I look at design is at the end of the day, like it's the client's rig, and what they want that's what they want, and we're just the vessel that like builds it and delivers it to them. So everybody has different interior design requests and interior design ideas, and just because it doesn't jive with what I like personally, doesn't mean that I'm going to force my designs or my ideas on the client necessarily. Like the purple garage, for example, not something that I would have ever presented to a client, but when you guys were like, we want purple in there, I was like, well, okay, like if you want a purple garage, let's do a purple garage, so like that's always at the end of the day, like we will always like give the client what they want because it's their rig, and the goal is to make them happy, basically.
Looking into rigs in the future, what are the top 3 things that you think, at least full-time rigs, what do you think they should have in them?
Well, the number one thing that comes to my mind off the top of my head is the mini split air conditioners, which if your audience isn't familiar, it's a residential system that just slam dunks the roof air conditioners. They take half the electricity, they're half the noise. They actually do a good job cooling and heating the space. They're just a far superior system. I like making sure, like if you have dogs, for example, that the dogs have an area that their beds can be. So that way you don't feel like their beds are constantly in the way. And I like having trash can nooks or laundry hampers because like those kinds of things are big items that if they don't have somewhere to live, they can feel like they're really in the way.
I can totally agree with that. In our Class A, we didn't have a trash can place, and I was really excited to actually have a dedicated stowed away place for trash, which sounds silly, but it makes the space so much more functional.
I'm gonna say dishwasher would be the third.
Yeah,
Because everybody has dishes, and that's one of my
totally
biggest
have
pet
a
peeves.
dishwasher.
You know, if there was one thing that I could have asked you guys to do that we did kind of aftermarket, I would have said it was the automatic black tank
Oh, switches.
switches,
Oh, where you just like push the button and it dumps.
and it dumps.
Yeah,
Like
I've
we don't
seen
have to run
those.
outside and do it. We just installed it on the half bath,
Yeah,
and
it's clutch.
it's clutch.
Not gonna lie, and especially because we put the shower and the bathtub back there, the black gray combo just doesn't have the capacity to handle more than one shower. So it's really nice to be able to just click the button and when you start your shower, and then click it off when you're done, and then you just retreat it. It's really nice actually, and you don't have to go outside after you've just showered and gotten all nice.
Yeah, that's a nice feature. I've seen those, but haven't gotten to use them myself.
Are there any things that people have put in the RVs that they regretted?
If any of our clients have had regrets, they have not shared it with us. But there is one that comes to mind that they might be having regrets now. They did not want any built-in appliances in their kitchen. No cooktop, no oven, no microwave. All they wanted was the fridge and the sink, and that was it.
You know what I was thinking? Like, why would somebody take on a full renovation rather than contact a professional like Flipping Nomad to do a renovation? Like when I see people on YouTube all the time, they're like, "Oh yeah, like I stripped down this wallpaper and I did it myself, but it only took me 3 months." I'm like, girl.
Yeah, it only took us a year and a half to completely renovate our minibus.
I think people need to be honest with themselves and their patience level, especially if they don't know how to build. Like if they've got to figure out like how to build cabinetry, and now they have to go figure out how to make them travel ready. So I think people with a short fuse or not a lot of patience should probably just steer clear.
You've built, you got a new location, right?
Mhm.
In Utah, you got a nice team. What is the future for Flipping Nomad?
We've got this big, beautiful building now. And like you said, we've got the team. So we're going to keep renovating. I don't know where exactly that's going to take us necessarily, because the whole landscape of RV renovations has changed drastically since when I first started like 6 or 7 years ago to now. The manufacturers have finally wisened up to what they want. He says it's always your turn. He runs the household, doesn't he?
Does.
No, but with manufacturers, they have gotten so much better with their interiors. So like if somebody just wanted a rig that was cute or just kind of looked nice, like there's plenty of those off the shelf now that people can get. So I think we're going to continue to get some really unique functionality requests. Like we've got a potential client in the future. They're not finalized yet, but we're going to do a hauler to build out the garage to haul 15 parrots.
I have a personal question. When it came to our rig, what was your favorite thing that we did in there?
Well, the trickiest, one of the trickiest, but also one of the coolest, I think, is that cat area, the cat domain, because that, like, the dimensions of that came, oh my gosh, it was so tight. Like, but it was such a specific thing that, like, no other, that's probably a situation we'll never get it again.
Would you recommend somebody buying a brand new rig or buying a used rig and renovating? Or would you advise them buying a newer rig with some of the problems that these manufacturers have nowadays to renovate with a slight renovation or go complete renovation?
I think people would just need to get clear about what their goals are, like if it's interior design based or functionality based, and like can they get close to that with a rig that they want. But of course, you know, from a financial standpoint, like why go buy a brand new rig and then rip it apart and like put tens of thousands of dollars more into it when you can go buy a slightly used one get rid of, a good chunk of that depreciation and then use that towards the renovation instead. So it's very much like case by case, but we historically had loved working with rigs that were 3 to 5 years old. But now that but in that COVID era is now 3 to 5 years old. And, if people don't know, the COVID era kind of wrecked the RV industry. So it's like, well, do you go buy a COVID unit now and hope it's okay? So that's kind of a case by case thing, but I think everybody should get a rig inspected regardless. And I'm glad that you guys got your rigs inspected because the first one it was a no-go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. It was just rusted through every possible place it could be rusted.
Yeah, and it
We told
wasn't
everybody
even
that.
5 years old, I don't think, and I can't believe the amount of rust on that thing.
What was the thing that you hated the most about our rig? Because I know there was definitely some challenges for sure.
Yeah, the thing that I hated the most about your rig, actually, I think I can speak for the whole team on this one, was just like we reimagined like every square inch of it, which meant that like every square inch of it had new dimensions that had to be like working with the rest of the dimensions. So the way that I always describe it to people, and your guys' rig is like an extreme example of it. It's like you were given a Lego set to build a cruise ship, but now you have to take that Lego set and go build a pirate ship, where it's like some of it like translates, like some of the components are there, but then other components you're like, this is not gonna work. And then you have to account for slides coming in for travel, and then you have to have stuff travel ready, and it's just like, oh my God, the dimensions of it, like your rig especially was rough for dimensions.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we know the nitro was not exactly plumb and square in a lot of places too.
Yeah, the structure of it, like the further we got into the structure, we were like, oh my God, like, yeah. So there was a lot that we just fixed. Like as we opened walls up, we were like, what is this? Like, this is not acceptable. So we would
Was
just
it like our sewer stack going through the middle?
Sewer stack going through the AC vent. That's fun.
That's legendary. Yeah, that one will be a legendary story that we tell for years. But yeah, just a lot of that kind of stuff, like really sloppy wires underneath, plumbing runs that we didn't like that we just fixed, as we saw it, stuff like that.
So listen, I saw that you have your own rig that you're about to do. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Or a new project of yours?
Yeah, so I just bought a new personal rig. It's an Alliance Paradigm rear kitchen. Kind of had some stuff personal or professionally change, which, my personal life is so involved with kind of my professional life of this business that I was like, it's kind of time for a new personal rig too. So it's actually a COVID unit, but knock on wood, it's okay. Doesn't seem to have any like really bad COVID issues. But yeah, it's a nice rear kitchen, 40-footer. I'm going to put my stamp on it, but I don't have anybody setting a budget or a design direction for me. So I'm like my budget and my design, but then I'm also doing it, which is, designers always say that when you design for yourself, that's the hardest. And I definitely feel that with this one.
I totally agree. Our personal house, the master bedroom, is still not done. And we've owned that house for like 5 years now.
But all of our Airbnbs are done.
Yeah, all the Airbnbs are done. But our personal home, I'm like, I don't know what to do with the bedroom.
Yeah. I feel that for sure.
Is there any special thing that's going to be in this new rig that's like not ever been seen before? Or
I have all sorts of ideas for it, but like the amount of time that I have to actually put into that is like, those are two very different things. But it's going to get the residential air conditioning system, the mini splits too. That's like first on the priority list. Other than that, I don't really know how crazy I'm actually going to get with it.
if somebody wanted to get in touch with you about actually renovating their own rig, how would they do that? And what's the application?
We do have a website, theflippingnomad.com. It's not the greatest of websites that are out there. But you can also see our work on Instagram. That's where we're most active. So the handle is the Flipping Nomad. And then on the website, there's like a kind of a Q&A of kind of what our process is like. And then there's a form to fill out of like, do you know, what type of rig are you looking for? Do you already own it? What's your interior design style? You know, kind of all those initial questions.
Yeah, you like that, huh? You gonna apply? You gonna do another rig?
He says,
baby rig. I love that. We're gonna have all the information in the description below.
Yeah, so everybody, you can contact Cortni. She does fantastic work. I absolutely love our rig. I don't think I would change anything about it. I love my pot filler. That was probably the best surprise that I've ever had, because we have a pot filler in our personal like brick and mortar home. And when we moved into the RV and started traveling, I really missed it because I cook a lot of pasta. I'm good at pasta. I love it. Thank you for my surprise. I really do.
Oh, good. I love that.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. What the whole rig renovation was for.
Yeah, we just hope that everybody who wants to do a renovation, understands what it entails, and we've asked some questions that will help them get through their decision-making process.
Yep. It is not for the faint of heart, but this lady makes it a lot easier.
No, it's not. It's a whole thing. It is a whole thing, that's for sure.
Don't forget to like and subscribe because you don't want to miss out on the full tour of our personal rig by the Flipping Nomad.